In the heart of Missouri lay Springfield, the birthplace of Route 66. Thousands of visitors come to this historic town every year, but in the summer of 1953, the city was host to some very unwanted and terrifying visitors. I have John Sellars, Executive Director Emeritus of the History Museum on the Square, to talk to us about this crazy summer. Mr. Sellars, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, good deal.
So, it was a pretty interesting summer that year, eh?
Yeah, it was one, even though I was quite young, I remember it very well. Uh, uh, for a multitude of reasons.
I can imagine. So there was a bit of a snake infestation, correct?
Yeah, it all started with a snake that got run over in the middle of the street at Nashville and St. Louis. And the people that saw the snake in the middle of the street said, "That's an odd looking snake. Its head's very flat." So they took it down the street to a pet shop just down St. Louis Street and took it into the owner of the pet shop and said, "Have you ever seen a snake like this?" And he identified it as a puff adder and said it was not poisonous. It was no problem with it, not to worry about it. So nothing else was thought about it for a day or so until another one was killed in a yard around on Trafficway Street, just north of St. Louis and Nashville. And that one they took to the science teacher at Jarrett Junior High. And he goes, "Where in the world did you get this?" And they said, "Oh, a dog killed it in a yard on Trafficway Street." They said, "Well, this is incredibly dangerous snake that's not indigenous to this area at all. It's a cobra." And somebody must have had it as a pet or something, because there's no way that this animal could be anywhere near here. It can't take the winter. It doesn't hibernate like a regular snake. And went through all the reasons that it just couldn't be right. But that started it, and soon they started to turn up a snake here and a snake there. All these cobras, about the same size, about the same age, and people just went panic-stricken about it. And the reason I'm so familiar with it is because that was in the 1600 block of St. Louis Street where his pet shop was, and my house was in the 900 block of St. Louis Street.
Oh man, ground zero.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we lived in an apartment. It was an old house that had been converted into apartments. And so we had this house. There was just a small family. And my mother, the minute she heard about this, of course it was in the paper and everything, the minute she heard about it, she immediately knew that these snakes were going to attack her children. Sure. So it's one of the hottest summers on record. The only one hotter was 1953. And she locked us up in the house, and the house had no air conditioning.
Oh man.
It was incredible. The windows all shut, the doors all closed, everything.
Hard to let you up in the summer when you're young anyway, let alone.
Yeah, we're getting their kids. So it was a very memorable summer. They ultimately there's some of those curious occurrences. They were getting complaints that the city wasn't doing enough to capture these snakes. So the head of the health department and the chief of police came up with a plan. These snakes, they had visions of them from movies and God knows what else, of these snakes with a snake charmer playing a flute, right, and charming these snakes. So they thought, well, we'll just get a truck with a big speaker and we'll play this snake charming music, and the snakes will come out and we can capture them or kill them. And not realizing that snakes can't hear, right? The snake charmer music is to allow the snake charmer to rhythmically move from side to side, which the movement lulls the snake. So they had a whole group of young people with hoes and axes and shovels following this truck driving like 5 miles an hour down the streets, playing snake charmer music, trying to capture these snakes, just waiting for these snakes to come slithering out, attracted by this wonderful music. Tar, and of course, no, that didn't work.
Yeah, to our 2025 brains, that's of course sounds ridiculous, but I bet in 1953, I mean,
Well, yeah, and and you think about today, what it would have been like. There would have been television remote trucks parked all the way to Stratford. Oh yeah, but in that day, we had one reporter from the AP and one reporter from Life magazine, and that was it. There was a nice article in Life magazine about it.
it's such an amazing story, a small town in Missouri getting overrun by cobras, and it'd be terrifying too, because they anywhere.
It's like 40 years later. Michael Bryan was editor of the newspaper at that time. Michael Bryan was a feature writer and a great guy. And one of his friends came to him and says, this has been weighing on me for the last 40 years, but I had to tell somebody. This guy, Ray O'Mauer, that owned the pet store, he would trade the local kids in the area tropical fish for snakes. And so this kid brought in some snakes and he got some tropical fish, and the tropical fish didn't survive. They died. So he went back and complained about the fish dying. And Ray O'Mauer said, well, I'm sorry, that's just your bad luck. And so he went outside and around behind the pet store to do some vandalism, just to get rid of his anger. And he turned over a big stack of crates, and a crate broke open, and all these snakes escaped. He thinks the assumption is that's how they got loose.
Now, is this the same pet shop owner that was like, oh no, that's just a puff adder?
Exactly. The same pet shop owner that said, oh, that's just a puff adder. Don't worry about that.
And of course, he would have been silent because, well, he didn't want to go, oh, hey, Blair, number one, number two, that's got to be illegal, right?
Yeah, they did find out that he was dealing in illegal animals.
Okay, yeah.
And so he right after this was all settled, he left town and didn't ever come back.
I can imagine. I just think about it would just be a terrifying situation anyway, because, oh yeah, I mean, go to the hospital, they, would have antivenin for water moccasins, copperhead.
Oh yeah, he's up back.
I'm not going to have no cobra.
Oh no, that's not something you just keep flying around. Because it was, and until the very first freeze, when everything got cold and froze, that was when they were certain that the snakes would come back, because they could deal with that cold weather.
Yeah, which I'm very thankful for that.
So for late in the summer, like in August, all the way through to like October, everybody was living in panic, waiting for the next snake to show up.
Just worrying about your pets running around, or
oh yeah, everything.
What an amazing, very curious piece of history that is, and Midwestern Missouri.
For years after that, there was a cobra on the seal of the city of Springfield. Oh wow, okay. There was the city of Springfield's seal had a shield in the middle of it, and they added the cobra circled around that shield with his head up above the shield.
Wow, that's amazing. Just like I said, what a wonderful piece of history that is, and just one of many that people can find if they go down to the museum on the square there.
Exactly. Yeah,
comes alive. And well, I thank you so much for joining me tonight and for coming on the show. Just like I said, it's an incredible Missouri story, and
glad to do it. I've got lots of them.